I was already seeing red, ready to burn it all down. Tuesday night had dragged like a dead weight, emails, deadlines, a never-ending slog. All I wanted was a cold beer and silence. But when I stepped through the door and saw Sarah's purse by the stairs, everything stopped. She wasn't supposed to be home. Her team retreat had 2 more days left, or so she claimed. I called her name. No response. The house was too quiet, unnaturally still. Then I heard it, a whisper, a laugh, from upstairs. My gut twisted. I crept up the stairs, slow and soundless. Every nerve in my body already knew the truth. The bedroom door hung half open. Voices. Hers. His. And then moans. I didn't rush in. Not yet. I had to see. Had to know. I eased the door open, just enough. There she was. On top. Laughing. And him, Ryan. My best man. My best friend. Since we were kids. I don't remember walking back down. Don't remember anything but the burn behind my eyes and the way my fists dug into my palms. Hard enough to bleed. I stepped outside because if I didn't, someone was going to die. And I meant that literally. I stood in the driveway, heart hammering in my chest, breath ragged. And that's when Eli pulled up. Another lifelong friend. The one who always knew what I was feeling without me saying a word. He looked at me, just once, then slammed his door shut. Who? He asked. I didn't speak, just pointed toward the house. His jaw clenched. Let me guess. Not just some guy. Someone you know? Eli asked. Ryan. My voice was flat, ice on steel. Jesus Christ. Eli rubbed his hand over his mouth, then looked at me. Eyes wide with something between fury and fear. You were about to go in there and do something stupid, weren't you? I didn't answer. I didn't have to. Don't, he said, stepping closer. Not like this, buddy. They're not worth you spending 10 years in jail. Then softer, calmer. But if you give me one night, I've got a great plan. I stared at him. What kind of plan? He smiled. But it wasn't kind. It wasn't safe. It was the kind of smile a lion gives right before it pounces. The kind that doesn't just strike, it destroys. We drove to his garage. His kingdom of chaos and focus. Walls lined with power tools, dust-covered trophies, and a whiteboard that hadn't been touched in years. He grabbed it, uncapped a marker, and wrote one word in thick black letters. You don't hit them, he said. You bury them. In their own choices. No blood. No cops. Just pure, inescapable consequences. I wasn't calm, not really. I could still see Sarah's face in that doorway. Still hear Ryan's grunts like some wild animal, desecrating my home, my marriage, my trust. But Eli's intensity, it grounded me, focused me. We get leverage, he said again. Then we take everything they think they deserve. He handed me a burner phone. Start recording. Every text, every voicemail, screenshot everything. If she lies, it only strengthens our case. I already had a few things, calendar entries labeled team retreat, hotel receipts she didn't know I could access, and that shaky video I took before I walked out. But Eli wanted more. Everything. We built a case like prosecutors, cold, organized, relentless. Backed it up to the cloud, labeled every folder, time-stamped every file. This wasn't emotional anymore. It was surgical. Eli knew Ryan better than most. Knew he worked at a high-end financial advisory firm. Knew he'd signed a strict morals clause, one public scandal, and it was over. We need to bait him, Eli said, eyes locked on mine. And when he bites, we make sure the whole world hears him chew. Make sure his personal life becomes a professional risk. That's what Eli said as he set up a fake email account under the name Concerned Spouse. From there, we'd send everything anonymously to Ryan's firm. But not yet. Not until we had proof so solid, so undeniable that no PR team or HR rep could spin it. Why wait? Because Eli had a plan. We weren't just going to expose him, we were going to make him brag about it first. And the opportunity came quicker than we expected. Pete, a mutual friend, was throwing a birthday party. Ryan would be there. So would Sarah. And so would we. Eli's idea was simple. Let them feel safe, comfortable, Drunk. Make them think they got away with it. Let Ryan talk. Let Sarah laugh like the knife hadn't already landed. We wired a jacket with a mic, planted my phone on a shelf across the room. Quietly recording. Eli wore a wire, ready to pour drinks and push the conversation where we needed it to go. Me? I just smiled. Played dumb. Like a man who hadn't seen his world shatter 2 nights before. When Sarah saw me, she lit up. Not with guilt, but with relief. She actually thought I didn't know. You came, she said, hugging me like everything was normal. Of course, I smiled back. Wouldn't miss it. Then Ryan fist bumped me. Like he hadn't just stabbed me in the back and spit on everything we ever shared. I didn't flinch. An hour in, the mic caught exactly what we needed. Ryan, drink in hand, laughing loud. I always said Jake didn't know what he had. She came to me, man. I didn't chase it. She begged. Swore she hadn't been satisfied in years. Sarah giggled beside him. You're such an ass. Eli leaned in. So what now? You think she'll leave him? Ryan shrugged. Won't need to. He'll fall apart eventually. Dude's soft. That recording? Straight into the evidence folder. Labeled and archived. Leverage. Exhibit A. The exact moment they destroyed themselves. By Monday morning, everything was in place. The files were airtight. The timeline, flawless. We weren't dealing in anger anymore, we were dealing in silence. Strategy. Eli called it the eye of the storm, that eerie calm before the whole thing collapses. Let's ruin them quietly first, he said. Then let the noise do the rest. We started with Ryan. An anonymous envelope, neatly packaged priority mail, addressed to the HR department at Prestige Financial Group. Inside, a flash drive containing the full party recording. Screenshots of explicit texts sent from his company phone. A detailed timeline linking his business lunches with Sarah's fake retreats. At the top, a cover letter. Calm. Professional. Lethal. This is a matter of urgent ethical concern regarding one of your advisors, Mr. Ryan M. His conduct reflects poorly on your institution and violates the moral standards outlined in your public code of conduct. No threats. No demands. Just the kind of cold, undeniable truth HR departments hate, because it leaves them no way to protect their own. Next came the social collapse. Eli had access to a private neighborhood forum, the kind where gossip pretends to be community spirit. We didn't post the videos. We didn't have to. We dropped a simple message. PSA. Before you hire a marriage counselor, or trust your money to someone local, make sure they're not sleeping with their best friend's wife. You'd be surprised how often it happens. Attached, a blurred screenshot of Ryan, mid-brag, straight from the party recording. The rumor mill caught fire in seconds. And then came the final blow. That night, I walked into the house like any other. Sarah was in the kitchen, sipping wine, wrapped in the illusion that nothing had changed. You're home late, she said. I set the divorce envelope on the counter. She stared at it, then at me. What's this? A thank you, I said, for finally showing me who you are. She opened it, scanned the papers. Her lips started to move, but I stopped her. I know everything, Ryan. The lies, the recordings. His job will be gone by morning. And you? You'll be lucky if anyone can look you in the eye again. She went pale. You? Recorded? Everything. You can't. Legally? I can. And morally? I stepped back. You gave that up the second you let him into our bed. She reached for me. Jake, please. Save it. This isn't about revenge anymore. It's about clarity. You don't belong in my life. And I walked out. The fallout came fast. Within 48 hours, Ryan was placed on indefinite leave. Clients started pulling their accounts. His name became a liability. Sarah's friends? Silent. Her phone stopped lighting up. No one wanted to be near the wreckage. My lawyer, backed by a solid prenup and clear evidence of adultery, filed for full asset protection and custody of our dog. Because yeah, even the dog mattered. But the best part? Neither of them saw it coming. Because I never yelled. I never hit a wall. I just walked away, while their world quietly collapsed behind me. I didn't threaten. I just executed. Clean exit. 3 weeks later, I stepped into my new apartment, barely 900 square feet, but it felt like the first real breath I'd taken in years. No echoes of footsteps I didn't trust. No trace of perfume that used to twist my stomach in knots. No more pretending. Just quiet. Just mine. Sarah didn't contest the divorce. She called once. Left a voicemail saying she didn't understand how I could just walk away like that. I never replied, because by then, her world was already in freefall. Ryan's collapse came fast. Within a week of the evidence going public, his firm let him go. A few clients even threatened legal action, saying his lack of ethics might have cost them more than trust. His name made the rounds in finance circles for all the wrong reasons. He tried to play it off, said it was fake news, but the receipts were real. The story stuck. He packed his things, moved in with his parents, and disappeared from social media without a word. And Sarah? The truth came out like it always does. People whispered about the affair, about the months of betrayal, about how she smiled to my face while stabbing me in the back, about how I paid the bills while she played the victim. Her job held on to her barely, but the invitations dried up. No more brunches, no more charity galas, no more hellos at the gym. What followed wasn't fire and fury. It was silence, isolation, death by 1,000 closed doors. And me? Therapy twice a week, running 5 miles every morning, learning to stop needing closure from someone who never had the decency to offer an apology. I thought revenge would be the satisfying part, and for a while it was, but the real victory came after, when the anger faded, when I stopped checking to see if she called, when I stopped needing to win. The other night, Eli and I grabbed drinks. He raised his glass and said, "To staying out of jail." I laughed. But really? To staying out of the life I once mistook for love. Because sometimes, revenge isn't rage. It's the quiet exit, while they burn down the house they built with lies. So what do you think? Was it justice? Or did I go too far? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And hey, if you live for wild, jaw-dropping revenge stories, hit that subscribe button. Smash the like. Stick around. We've got more coming your way. Every like, every share, every follow, it matters. You help us keep these stories alive. Thanks for being here. You're what makes this community real.